Hey guys, so I just discovered where Auckland is. I'm so excited. So this is Erica's geography class. No, just kidding. You are tuned into the Child Care Director's Chair podcast. If you listened to yesterday's episode, I was just talking about the listeners that tune into our show, and I was so excited. And I saw someone from Auckland was tuning in. And if you're listening today, I want to say hello. So those of you who don't know, because I didn't, I had to look it up. Auckland is located in New Zealand, which is an island country in the South Pacific Ocean, specifically in the southern westernmost part of Polynesia. New Zealand is also considered part of Oceania. So I cannot even explain to you how cool that is that somebody from that part of the world is listening. And I know you're not my only global listener, but it is really freaking cool. So, anyway, that's enough about that. I'm so happy you're here today. Today's episode, I'm hoping, is a motivating episode for you. We're going to explore three of the most powerful and essential mindsets that separate good leaders from transformative leaders. It's the resilient mindset, the empowering mindset, and the solution-oriented mindset. This isn't just theory. This is strategic mindset work designed for seasoned childcare leaders who are managing the weight of operational demands while still trying to show up with purpose, creativity, and God knows, energy. If you're feeling tired, stretched thin, or like the joy of this work has faded a bit, this episode will reignite your vision and give you a mindset framework to carry forward with strength. Now, I know that I have talked about mindset in the last 3 or 4 episodes, and you might be tired of hearing me talk about it. And I hope not. I hope you're staying with me and tuned in. But these are things that I think really culturally need to shift for us childcare directors. Because looking at the Facebook groups, they're very draining. They're very tiring. They're often not optimistic at all. And I'm worried about all of you. And I'm here to help. I think you need to hear a different message. So, let's be real. This work, it's sacred, but it's exhausting. And if you're anything like most directors that I have known that have been in the field 10, 15, even 20 plus years, you might have hit a wall or two. You've been the fixer, the counselor, the leader, the janitor, the visionary, and many times all in one week. And some days it feels like you're walking through quicksand, just trying to get your team motivated, the families happy, and ratios covered. But what if I told you it's not your energy that's failing, it's your mindset muscle that needs to be reconditioned? Because even the most experienced, educated, and brilliant directors cannot outwork a depleted mindset. And today we're going to talk about 3 transformable mindsets that can help you reignite your drive, sharpen your clarity, and recenter your purpose as a leader. The resilient mindset, the empowering mindset, and solution-oriented mindset are things that might be just the game-changing piece you need on your chessboard. So let's talk about the first one, resilient mindset. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back. It's about bouncing forward. The longer you lead in this field, the more inevitable it becomes that you're going to face some adversity. Staff walking out unexpectedly, losing a top teacher to burnout, sharp parent criticism, or new regulations that throw off months of planning. The weight of these challenges doesn't lessen with experience. It's still hard. It just requires deeper reserves of internal strength to process and respond. The resilient mindset is your ability to move forward through adversity with intention, not avoidance. It's not about brushing off or pretending it didn't hurt. It's about allowing your setbacks to teach you instead of traumatizing you. Advanced leaders build resilience by developing mental stamina. Being able to regulate your emotions during unexpected stressors without offloading them on your team. Now that's a skill that comes with consistent self-reflection and emotional regulation techniques. Visionary endurance, holding the long view in mind, even when the short term feels overwhelming. Resilient leaders have the ability to zoom out and see how even difficult moments will eventually contribute to the bigger picture. An intentional recovery, carving out non-negotiable space for mental restoration so that your decision making remains sound and steady. This means prioritizing self-care practices that nourish you rather than deplete you. You see, a mindset helps you deal with challenges in a way that helps you stay energized and focused on the future rather than bogged down by immediate struggles. Here's how you're going to practice this. Reflect each day with one thing that you learned from a challenging situation. Write it down. This is honestly really a simple practice that I do sometimes with my coaching clients. This practice will help you reframe your experience and solidify your growth. Carve out some recovery rituals, whether it's a quick walk, a 10-minute meditation, or a brief chat with a mentor. Use this time to allow your brain to reset, even for just a few minutes. Shift your language when you communicate with your team. Instead of focusing on the difficulty, communicate how you overcame it and the lessons that are learned. You see, resilient leaders model regulated, grounded leadership. And your calm, my friends, is contagious. Let's talk about the other type of mindset. Let's talk about the empowering mindset. True leadership is not about control. It's about capacity building. After years of leading, it is easy to default into doing things yourself. God knows I've done it, and sometimes I continue to do it. But I have gotten better over the last year and a half. That is the truth. You see what happens when things start falling apart and you clean up the mess. So it just feels safer to stay in control. But the empowering mindset challenges you to loosen up your grip. And that's not laziness, but in faith. Empowering leaders believe their staff can grow, they can stretch, and they can become powerful contributors when given responsibility, encouragement, and the freedom to make decisions. You're not just managing people, you are mentoring future leaders. What does that look like? Delegating decisions, not just tasks. Because we like to do that. All right, I'm going to delegate. Can you do these 5 things I don't want to do? But do you give them decision making around it? Because a lot of times you don't. Empower your leads to own the parts of the program, whether it's behavior management, curriculum planning, family engagement. This is about sharing ownership with your staff and allowing them to make decisions that impact the program. Ooh, that sounds scary. Give me a second. I want you to think about that for a minute. How willing are you to let go? That's a question you've got to ask yourself. If you want to grow and do other things and be able to expand your impact and whatever that means for you. It could mean writing a book. It could mean going to conferences. It could mean presenting at conferences. It could mean opening up another location. It could mean traveling more with your family. It could mean a lot of things. But none of that's going to happen if you don't allow some people to take some ownership and accountability for decision making in your program. And normalize feedback. Empowering doesn't mean like hands off. It means growth focused support. Feedback should be rooted in development, not correction, but in development. You see, leaders who empower their teams, they celebrate those wins, they foster regular feedback loops and create safe spaces for growth. That's when it happens, guys. Creating leadership opportunities. Who on your team has the potential that you have not tapped into yet? Who could lead a training? Who could mentor a new hire? Who can take on a small initiative? You must actively look for opportunities to help your staff develop their skills. This is how you create a sustainable culture where people don't just show up, but they want to thrive. They want to learn. So here's some practice that you can do. Ask each team member during check-ins, "Hey, Leah, where do you want to grow?" Then find a way to support that direction. Also, let go of everything being perfect. Empowerment, my friends, it's messy. This includes failure, but every failure is also a data point and a step forward. Start a leadership lab inside your center. Give ambitious teachers opportunities to test their leadership skills in a supportive environment. This could be through peer mentoring, it could be leading a small project, or even presenting at team meetings. God knows, after 27 years, I've done my share of team meetings. I'm more than happy to come and attend and just sit back and just give guidance when needed. I never feel as though I need to run a team meeting again, unless it's a strategic meeting, a visionary meeting, or something major. But regular team meetings, guys, really, those should be done by your team at this point. Remember, empowerment is not giving people more to do, it's giving them more space to become the leader that you see in them, the leader that they see in themselves. And number 3 is that solution-oriented mindset. Problem-focused leadership is exhausting, but solution-oriented leadership is energizing. You've built your center up by solving problems, and sometimes a dozen before lunch. But at some point, if you're not careful, you can become the very thing that you used to fight. A leader stuck in reaction mode. An solution-oriented mindset trains your brain to look for movement, not perfection. You're not solving for ideal, you're solving for possibility. What is possible? When faced with challenges, solution-focused leaders don't spin in stress. They pause, they assess, and they take the next best step. This mindset also prevents burnout among your leadership team and staff because it shifts the tone of meetings, the emotional climate, and how you respond under pressure. Here are some ways to practice this mindset. You can use powerful questions when coaching your staff, like, "What do you think we should try?" Or, "What would a successful next step look like?" Here's one I really like. "What's one thing you can do in the next hour to move forward?" Host solution labs, quick 20-minute team huddles focused on one current issue. Everybody proposes something to try. No blame allowed. This brief but impactful session encourages creativity and innovation. Track the wins from problem solving and do it publicly. Start or end meetings with a quick share, like, here's a solution that worked this week, because those small victories build big momentum. This mindset not only builds team morale, it also creates a culture of being agile, where you and your team feel empowered to tackle whatever challenges arise. And trust me, those challenges are here. Here's some advanced action steps for directors. Choose your growth mindset. Ask yourself, which of these mindsets have I unintentionally neglected? Choose one to focus on for the next 30 days. Read about it, practice it, talk about it with your team, build a culture of resilience, empowerment, or solutions around it. Integrate mindset into your leadership systems. Don't just change how you think, change how you lead. Build these mindsets into your check-ins, into your meetings, and your evaluations. Celebrate each time someone on your team demonstrates resilience, or empowers a colleague, or focuses on a solution rather than a problem. Bring your team into the mindset shift. Let your team in. Talk about mindsets openly. Share how you're working on them and invite them to join you. Culture shifts when mindsets become a shared language. So empower your team. Take ownership of their own mindsets by providing those resources, encouragement, and of course, accountability. Now listen, you didn't get here by accident. You've lasted because you care deeply, you show up consistently, and you lead from a place of purpose. But leadership longevity requires mental mastery just as much as operational excellence. These mindsets, resilience, empowering, and solution-oriented, are more than helpful tools. They're the foundations for sustainable, joyful, influential leadership journey. And you don't have to do it alone. Join us every Wednesday for our coaching group and accountability calls inside the Child Care Director's Chair Leadership Circle. Let this be the season that you stop striving and start leading with fresh energy, sharp clarity, and deep joy, because that's what I want for you. You can check us out at our website, www.childcaredirectorschair.com. You've got this. You know what? We've got you. Until next time, stay rooted, stay visionary, and stay in the seat. This has been the Child Care Director's Chair podcast.